Seeds of understanding. They said the humans were spreading through the stars. Faster-than-light drives were no longer such a big deal to them. Hard to invent the first time, sure, but now they built them routinely. So they flew from star to star, an ever-lengthening chain of discoveries. We learned these things recently, of course, because until 2 days ago there was no we in our galaxy. Just humanity alone, meeting only worlds full of life too stupid to talk back. For decades they'd searched, the humans. They had found life, yes. Lush worlds bursting with plants, myriad creatures crawling and swimming through primordial ecosystems, a few worlds brimming with animal life. But all those beasts were essentially brainless, not even close to the threshold of true intelligence. Nothing that could even understand a conversation, let alone form words or abstract thoughts. For centuries, humans had longed to find another voice among the stars, and for all that time, silence reigned. That silence ended 2 Earth days ago. They had sent signals between distant systems. We answered. Simple beeps and boops at first, turning into patterns, sequences, code. The humans knew they weren't alone now, and their best minds scrambled to understand us. But the first attempts to decode messages and translate concepts failed. It didn't matter, because there are always 2 parties in a conversation, and we did not fail. With cautious optimism, we invited them. 1 human only, 1 peaceful ship, and a certain location well outside their known space. We said we would wait. It sounded risky, like a trap. The humans hesitated for mere seconds before their SETI program, responsible for searching and contacting extraterrestrial intelligence, was flooded with volunteers. They appointed 1 human as ambassador so fast that the rest could hardly object. She was shoved into a small exploration craft, a mostly automated vessel, and hurled into the unknown. She carried their hopes and fears as she followed our directives. The ambassador's journey led her into a nearly empty void, far from any star. For a moment, she believed nothing was here after all, but then a second sensor sweep revealed a tiny signature. Our ship, nearly invisible. She sent a greeting, as prepared, and we answered promptly, providing an approach vector and an invitation to come aboard. Now the ambassador, her name is Neil, sits in a room divided by a transparent wall. On the other side stands a member of my species, towering 6 times her height, resting on a tail-like base, with a torso, shoulders, and long arms folded in a mantis-like pose. She sees a head with no visible mouth, 4 black eyes peering back at her. Our walls are smooth and unbroken, our ship's interior more grown than built. A seamless environment of gentle curves. Before meeting us face to face, she picked up a small disc-like device from a pedestal, examining it curiously. Suddenly, the wall between us turned transparent. Startled by my massive presence, she forgot all her prepared greetings, yet she manages a hesitant smile. "Greetings," chirps a voice from the disc in her hand, a translator we fashioned in haste. The voice is toneless, childlike, overlaid by strange background distortion. Our gaze meets. She tries to recall her protocol and speaks. "Hello. I am Ambassador Neil, representing humankind. I bring peace, friendship, and a desire to learn and share knowledge." I tilt my head at her words. This translator is crude. Its output makes little sense to me. I try something simpler. "Your ship is mathematically incorrect." "My what?" she blurts, confused. She attempts to return to the basics. "I come on behalf of humankind. Peace, friendship, understanding." She gestures politely. "Your ship," repeats the translator. "Its design, why did you build it like this?" She frowns, uncertain. The ship wasn't built by her. She knows next to nothing about engineering. Trying for composure, she says, "Our ship follows well-established principles. It's functional, designed for long-distance exploration. Might I ask your name?" I point at her insignias, 2 identical colored ribbons on her suit's shoulders. These 2 objects, exactly the same, says the translator. They're insignias showing my function as ambassador, she replies. They are identical because they were made by a machine for ceremonial use. Her mind reels. Is this what we want to talk about? How did you build them exactly the same? The translator chirps. She hesitates. I don't know the details of manufacturing. We have machines that make them precisely. Machines? The translator's tone is flat, but Neil senses confusion. She tries to explain humans rely on complex manufacturing processes and automated systems. She hopes I'll understand, but we do not understand. I ask, you do not know how you built them. Surprised, she tries to clarify. I personally did not build anything I wear. Other humans design it and machines manufacture it. The same for my ship and equipment. Impossible, the translator says. You must come from machines. Neil flinches. We do not come from machines. We built them. Well, in the distant past, humans built the first machines by hand. Over time, machines got better and built more complex machines. Eventually, they do most of the building now. She's flustered. We reflect on her words. Complexity from complexity, intelligence from intelligence. No single human knows how to make everything. They rely on a chain of machines and collective knowledge. It sounds impossible to me. I can shape anything needed with my own hands. Our species forms complexity by controlling structure directly. No external machines required. I find this chain of logic baffling. The translator tries. You claim complexity arises from a chain of simpler steps, each guided by knowledge that no single human possesses? She sighs. Yes, that's correct. Our civilization accumulates knowledge. We rely on collective memory and specialization. I sense frustration in her voice. We approach from another angle, picking up her chest insignias again. How did you build them so precisely equal? I press. Machine-made, she repeats. Machines are better at precision than our hands. They follow our designs. You do not build anything with your own hands? I can, but generally it's not as efficient, she says. We have machines for nearly every task. I realize I must be careful not to overwhelm her. Our attempts to find a simple starting point lead to confusion. Let me try another approach. I say, your ship is built by your machines too, correct? Yes. Your entire technology is based on machines building more machines, correct? Yes. She nods, relieved we're moving forward. And you? Your ship seems grown or shaped by hand. How? I built it, I say, using a single base material. Shaping it directly, no machines, just my hands. The translator distorts. I try again, telling her shape alone grants function. Neil is at a loss. She tries to ask about the material. I explain we have one universal building material we arrange molecule by molecule. She reacts with awe. Incredible, she says. But why all this focus on how we build things? I confess confusion. Your reliance on machines to create complexity seems counterintuitive. Complexity from complexity. We have a direct shaping method. Our civilization grew slowly over millennia, each individual fully capable of building what they need. Your approach is alien to me. She tries to reassure me. Though I don't fully understand your methods either. You have no name for your species, yet you talk about shared knowledge effortlessly. It's amazing. We pause. I sense her heart is racing. Too many strange concepts have passed between us. Let's try simpler topics. Tell me about your home planet. She brightens. Earth. It's a lush world with billions of humans, about 22.5 billion in total, spread across multiple planets now, but Earth is home. I flinch internally. Billions? That's unimaginable. A swarm. Instinctively, my fear spikes. That many small beings. Fear of being overwhelmed. Ancestral dread floods me. I almost end the meeting telling her to leave. She perceives my tension, confusion. She tries to calm me. I've said something wrong. Please, what is it? I gather courage and admit my fear. The idea of 22 billion individuals terrifies me. My biology is wired to fear large numbers of small creatures. Predators in our past came in swarms. I'm sorry. She looks relieved, understanding. No offense taken. Let's step back. We mean no harm. Our large population comes with a history of careful resource management. We aren't a swarm of predators. I weigh her words. Indeed, they show empathy and patience. I apologize again for my reaction and ask more. We talk about how long humans have existed, how they developed technology. She explains humans are about 200,000 years old. Writing started about 5,000 years ago. Rapid technological growth in the last few centuries. In less than 600 years, they went from simple machines to interstellar travel. My turn to be stunned. So fast, so many. They overcame their limits differently. I share our timeline. My species is about 7,000 years old since the first one became independent. We took 5,000 years to leave our origin world. She's amazed, calls me ancient. I tell her of the first one's story. Our ancestor who emerged alone, learned to evade predators, discovered mathematics, and eventually started building things. I recount her struggles, raising offspring, fighting predators, slowly gathering knowledge. Through cycles of abundance and storms, she taught her children, and they taught theirs. Eventually, we eradicated the predators, explored the planet, and built flying wingcraft. Thousands of years of memory leading to a stable, knowledge-rich species. Neil listens, enthralled, showing deep compassion at the hardships faced by the first one. She's moved by these memories as if they were a real-time experience. I marvel at her empathy, even though they don't share memories directly. She explains it's human nature to imagine oneself in another's place, feeling their emotions. I feel admiration for her kind heart. We exchange cultural treasures. She shows me art, a painting, a vase. She tries to explain fiction, stories that never happened but teach lessons, entertain, broaden empathy. This concept amazes me. No shared memory. They invented fiction as a tool for education, bonding, understanding. I admit confusion, but find the idea intriguing. She also reveals humans are not immortal. They age and die, every single one eventually. I am horrified. The scale of death among them is unimaginable, yet they persist, thriving. She's shocked that we can live indefinitely, only dying by external factors. I feel sympathy for her fear of aging. She wonders how we handle infinite time. I find her longing for immortality touching. So different are our species, yet we find common ground in understanding each other's struggles. Time passes quickly in these talks. We discover they are divided into males and females, needing two individuals to create offspring. She's surprised we are monogendered and produce offspring alone. We talk about families, love, lullabies. She sings a human lullaby, flooding me with emotions of warmth, protection, deep love. It's so overwhelming I drift into a meditative rest. When I awaken, she too had fallen asleep, exhausted. We laugh at this mishap, apologizing to each other. We understand now. We both pushed ourselves too hard. She sleeps because of biology. I rest because intense mental activity requires it. We accept these differences. After a well-deserved break, we reconvene. The atmosphere is relaxed and friendly now. She shows me writing on artificial paper, explaining alphabets and numbers. I am fascinated that they store knowledge in these symbols, building massive repositories of information. She points out that we can't just share memory as we do. I realize their external memory storage is a solution to their mortality and limited brain capacity. We talk about their space exploration methods, their protocols for first contact, how carefully they chose what to bring. She asks if I want to pick a name for my species. I suggest she choose one. She selects Inori, from a fictional race in her stories who catalog the galaxy. A kind homage. I accept the name proudly. We have reached a point of familiarity and trust. She's thrilled to find we sing lullabies too, our humming resonating deeply. It puts her in a calm state that led her to nap. We laugh off these small embarrassments, forging a bond. But soon the conversation must end. I have learned far more than expected, and must return home, 10,000 light-years away, to spread word of humanity. I explain I'll leave and come back after everyone on the origin world learns her name, Samantha Daniela Neal. She's surprised at the scale of my species' synchronization process and that I can't simply send a message. I say knowledge must remain uncorrupted, so I must return personally. She agrees. She will ensure humans maintain a presence here. In about 50 days, Inori will arrive. She's excited and anxious. The humans will prepare diplomats and scientists, and she, as ambassador, must guide them. Both sides have discovered friends in the dark void. As we conclude, I sense her sadness at parting, yet also hope and anticipation. Before she leaves, she sets her hand against the transparent barrier. Moved by a strange, tender impulse, I press one of my fingers to the barrier from my side. Two beings, so different, touching across a wall of air and trust. A symbolic gesture of a bond newly forged among the stars, she whispers softly. I think you are incredible, Nar. I resonate with her sincerity. Humans and Inori, once strangers, now share stories, laughter, and dreams. Though separated by time, biology, and culture, we found harmony in understanding and empathy. I watch her return to her ship. The docking tunnel disconnects smoothly. As her vessel departs, I rearrange my ship's internal structure for the journey ahead. My mind overflows with information about humanity. Machines, language, art, history, mortality, compassion. It's a precious gift. I must hurry home to share it. For her part, Neal sits in her communication room, drained, yet fulfilled. She's already informed her contact that she needs a top-level initiative to handle future Inori visits. She'll have to organize an entire corps of ambassadors, scientists, historians, engineers, and artists to meet the Inori's thirst for knowledge. When Inori return in 50 days, humanity will present curated archives, language data, historical records, fictional stories, samples of art, and possibly even attempts at bridging conceptual gaps in mathematics, biology, and physics. They will have to respect the Inori's approach. No signals, no complexity from complexity. Just careful shaping and sharing of knowledge. Humanity's external memory will meet Inori's internal collective heritage, and they will enrich each other. If this delicate harmony endures, the galaxy will never be the same. Two species, each lost and longing in their own ways, have found a companion. Humanity's old yearning for intelligent neighbors is answered, and Inori's fear of swarms of small beings gives way to admiration for a species that overcame death through collective memory and machinery. We end as we began, with knowledge traveling between stars. Only now it moves not in desperate hope, but in confident anticipation. The humans will spread the story of the first meeting, how they and the Inori sat separated by a barrier and language, forging a bridge out of curiosity, empathy, and trust. The ambassador Neal, once alone and uncertain, now stands as a key link, guiding humanity in a stellar alliance that will define an era. And Nar, ancient and wise, will return bearing the news, inspiring countless Inori to journey forth, meet humans, and together create a tapestry of knowledge more vibrant and boundless than any species alone could ever imagine.